Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed Tuesday's video if you were able to catch up with that one. And today we're going to do another card. We are going to make it into a Christmas card. But what we're going to do this beautiful scripted background. Now this one I did with flowers, so it could be from a book, perhaps from a romantic fiction or even a flower book. And this one is more of a Christmas one, or a biblical one. So because we've got Mary and Joseph, I beg your pardon, and the baby Jesus, an image of the baby Jesus with Mary and Joseph, so this could be a script from the Bible. So we're going to do another Christmas card today in the same style, but we're not going to be using this image today. We're going to be using a more secular image. We're going to be using a snowman. So this one I haven't even put on the back of a card yet. I just got it ready, or on the front of a card. I just got it ready to stick on. But this one I've stamped directly onto my card, and we're going to do the same with that today. And we're going to use a different colour ink. We're not going to use a black ink, and we're not going to use this staining. This is just, you can use an ink. I didn't actually use an ink. I haven't got an ink that's that pale. I actually used some old foundation powder that you'd use for cosmetics. That I suppose you put it on your face. But I don't put makeup on my face. But if I find a colour that I like, I just use a piece of kitchen towel or paper towel and rub it gently over there. But we're going to use a mask to keep this area clear. So I'll show you how I've made my mask. You can die cut your mask. I didn't die cut this one, I hand cut it. I did die cut this one, and I'm going to show you how I've created the mask for the card that we're going to be making today. So I'm going to just slide those to one side. I'm going to bring in my blank cardstock like that. This is just a 5x7 card, my favourite size of card. This is just a piece of card folded over, and this is the mask that I've made for it. I know it's the same colour, so you can't really see it too well, but if I slide it over and just pop it on my background. Now, because we're going to be doing inking, I would suggest you put some rough paper underneath your work to protect your table. And this is just another piece of cardstock, and I didn't have a die. I haven't got many circle dies, but what I did use, I used this. This is just a roll of double-sided clear tape, which I laid down, drew around it with a pencil and cut it out. So that was easy, wasn't it? And what we're going to do, I don't want glue on this because I'm going to be stamping on it. So if I can find it, what I'm looking for, oh, there we go. I'm looking for some low tack tape. Don't ask me to say that twice. So I found some, this is just glitter washi tape, but it doesn't matter about the glitter. All we're going to do, if you've got some low tack double-sided tape or masking tape, that's fine, but we're going to loop it around like that so that the sticky side is facing up. Because it's low tack, it will lift without tearing the paper, I hope. And hopefully it'll stay down as well. It's supposed to be low tack, but it's sticking to my fingers. But oh dear. Okay, let's just do it this way. Plan B. If it won't stick one way, do it the other. So if it doesn't stick where you want it to, hold it down. Then pop your mask over the top. It should still come off okay. And I have got a script. You can't see this too well, but you will do in just a minute, I promise. And I'm going to use, let's just make sure I get it the right way around, because the first time I did this, I had the script, it's not a die, it's a stamp, upside down because I couldn't see it properly. So we're going to slide this in the middle. You will see it in a minute, I promise. And all I'm going to do is ink it up like that. I'm going to use a blue just to give it a bit of colour. Because it's a Christmas card, and this is going to be quite a fun image in the middle, we're going to use a blue, and we're going to do that each time. And so what we do, start on the edge of your mask and just stamp like that. It doesn't have to be very prominent. So, but I would suggest you ink this up each time. It will go over, it will overlap, but that's absolutely fine. So just that bit there, you just want it to go on the edge. That's why I've suggested that we have a piece of rough paper underneath, because you don't want this ink going on your work surface. Now, I'm just going to stamp that again, that's fine. So this does take a little bit of time. I was going to start one off and then show you the finished one. But sometimes if you've never seen this done before, or if you've never done it before, it's quite nice to see the process building up. It does take a little bit longer, but that's okay. It won't take too much longer, especially when we get to the sides. But ink it up each time, unless you want it to be slightly dimmer, then don't ink it up each time. But I quite like a reasonably bold print. Obviously this isn't a print that you can read, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Or if you want a really quick way of doing it, you can cheat. You can get a page, you can use a page from a book, put your mask over the page, just put it down with a low tack tape and photocopy it. But make sure it's not a good book or somebody else's book, just in case you get into trouble. We don't want that. So we're just going to prompt this down. Look, that's not supposed to happen. I think this ink pad just about had it, to be honest. I have used it a lot. It's one of my favourite blues, but never mind. We will get there in just a minute. So we're nearly done. We're just going to get this print done, and we are done with that bit anyway. So I'm just going to take that off. I will clean it up later. And what we need to do now, this is the exciting bit, we need to take off our mask. So if we just gently pull it away like that, you've got a nice, clear, crisp bit in the middle. I suppose you call this masked stamping. And I have got an image. Now, another tip for you. I had my stamp already, but you know what it's like when you've got stamps. Because they're clear, you can't see the wretched things. So if you've got a white table or a pattern table like mine, it disappears. So I've put my stamp, my next stamp, on underneath a piece or on top of a piece of coloured cardstock. I'm not going to use this coloured cardstock. It's just so that I can see the stamp when it's on my desk and I don't have to spend the rest of the video looking for the wretched thing. So I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to place it on my block. Now, because this block has got a grid on it, I can make sure he's reasonably straight, but it doesn't matter because because he's on skis, I think we're going to have him skiing downhill. So for that, I'm going to use a black ink, an ink pad, a black ink pad for this, I think. And we're going to colour him in together as well. Because he's a snowman, the bulk of him is white, so this isn't going to take too much longer. So just give him a good inking up. I couldn't have done this beforehand because by the time I've done all that stamping, it would have dried out. So I could have done another one and then had it pre-prepared, but I thought it would be nice to see the whole process from start to finish. So we're going to stamp him on like that. And there we go. Okay, that's not quite central, but that doesn't matter. And so I have got some colours over here already and waiting. So we're going to have, obviously his skis will be grey. So these are just ordinary alcohol pens. Well, actually they're not alcohol pens, they're Pitt pens. Well, some are alcohol pens and some are Pitt pens. They're just coloured pens, but you can use your paints, coloured pencils, whatever you feel comfortable with. There's no right or wrong with this. You can use whatever you want to. So we're just going to get this coloured in. That's the only grey we're going to be using. And let's do his nose. I've got a little bit of orange for his nose because we're going to assume that that's a carrot. So there we go. This isn't going to take long. This is going to come together really, really quickly. And for his scarf, and we're going to do the same for his hat because we're going to have him all nicely matched. We're going to do red, and I think I've got a blue. Yeah, so we'll do every other one, and this is where I've got to watch what I'm doing so that I don't miss one. Because they're pens, if I make a mistake, there's no going back. If it was a pencil and I make a mistake, I could just rub it out, but I can't rub this out. So I shall just have to watch what I'm doing and carry on talking to you at the same time. That's going to be fun, isn't it? So we should be okay. Oh, we got away with that. Wonderful. And while we've got this colour, we might as well do his hat while we're at it. So what shall we do? I think we'll do, he's got earmuffs on as well, so we'll change that colour, or we'll do that a different colour. So we'll just colour that in like that. This won't take long. And then I'm going to pop that to one side. We don't need that one anymore. And I've got a blue here. I thought I'd use blue because it goes, because I've used blue for the script. I thought it would just sort of blend in a bit more. So we're going to just put some blue in there like that. I could have used green, I suppose, but I didn't think of it, so I didn't. So we're going to use blue and red. Nothing wrong with blue and red, absolutely fine. So we're just going to colour that in like that, reasonably quickly. Not too quickly because we want it to look reasonably neat. So here we go. We're just going to carry on like that, and you can see him building up really nicely there. Oh, better do this, I suppose. So we'll do the rim of his hat also in blue, and we're going to give him a blue pom-pom as well. Now, shall we give it? Now, I can see his, we're going to need this again. He's got gloves on with little ruffles on his gloves. So we're going to do this. We're going to have him all matching. So there we go. So you can just see the tip of that glove. You can't see the ruffles. So we'll just do that. And we'll just do the ruffly bit round here. So we're just going to get this done quite quickly. And he has got earmuffs on, and I think what we'll do with the earmuffs, we'll make the band, we'll do it the other way around this time. Well, reasonably. We're going to have a different colour red for his earmuffs, and this time we're going to give him a lighter blue for the fluffy bit around the outside. So you'll see this building up really quickly and really nicely. And all we're going to do now is take, I'm not going to use black for this, I don't like using black. So just a little bit like that, and we're going to just put, so this is a dark grey, it isn't a black. So we're just going to do his buttons and just the, not quite sure what you call them, I'm not much good at skiing. The things that you hold, the balance poles or whatever they're called. The poles that skiers use. Whatever they're called, we're going to do them in dark grey as well. And that is it. So there is our, I suppose you call it a script or text. Shall we call it a script background or a text background? Let's call it a script background. So we're going to call this a scripted back or script background Christmas card or something like that. Anyway, you'll see when it goes up. And you can add Merry Christmas at the bottom if you want to. I haven't brought down any sentiments with me, but you can add a sentiment to that if you want to. So it looks like he's just whooshing off the edge of that blank, that open square or open circle there. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll tell you what we will do. I know the ink, the stamp did it, but let's just make his eyes just a little bit more prominent. I know that's pure indulgence on my part because I'm fussy. That's better. You can see his eyes better. Now they sort of disappeared under all that colour. So there we go. There is our snowman whooshing out of that area there. And we have a scripted or script background card. Or it'll be something like that. You'll see what I decide to call it eventually when we put it up. So it'll probably be called a script background Christmas card, which sounds a bit of a mouthful, but unless I can find a better title, that's what it's going to be called. So there we go. There's our Friday project to take you into the weekend. I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful, and you give it a go yourself, or you do the shortcut version where you use a page of a real book. But don't forget, if you're going to use a book, don't put anything in the middle of the mask to stick it down that will tear the page, especially if it's not your book, because you could be in a lot of trouble, and we don't want that. So I would use your script. If you haven't got a text background, you could use a dark pen. I'll just move that out of the way for a minute. If you haven't got a scripted background, you could use a dark pen or a coloured pen and just do little squiggles like that. So you could do that and obviously just intersperse them. You could do that if you wanted to. That'll take a bit longer, but the good thing about that is you can be a bit more selective as to where you put it. So there we go. There is our script background Christmas card. I think that's what we'll call it. And I will see you on next Tuesday with another project for you. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care, everybody. Have fun. And as always, happy crafting. Bye-bye for now.